Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a tag I got from Gidget Goes 1128 and it's to do my 5 favourite books. So Gidget Goes, thank you for tagging me. Sorry it took me so long to get around to doing this. But everyone, if you haven't checked out Gidget Goes 1128, I'm going to put a link below, so definitely check out her channel. She's got great beauty reviews, hauls, as well as book reviews, and also there's a cooking one on there, so definitely check her out. So I'll get on to this. Now, I did take me a little while, and it's taken me like a week to try and decide what to do, because a lot of my very favourite, I suppose, sentimental books that I've had for a very, very long time are actually in storage. So what I might do today, I'll just do some 5 favourite reads, or actually 5 favourite slots, so a cross-section of different types of books that I love to read. So there won't be hardline genres, there'll be just a cross-section of different ones that I like. So later on, once I get everything out of storage, I might show you those. So although some of them you might be surprised by, so keep your eyes out for that one. And I'll just quickly mention that one beauty item I was talking about. And I know I've already done a post on the MP Flawless, Forever Flawless, but Gidget Goes 1128 also requested that I do an overview on this, and I will actually do one. I'm just going to finish this as well as some of the different looks. So I'll do a good, honest sort of overview of the book, so keep your eyes out for that one later on as well. But now to get started, so I've just picked 5 different very random slots, and I'll have all the book titles and authors and details down below. Now let's see, because I do love horror books, but there's nothing, I suppose, horrific in here. And I do love collecting first edition books, historical books, as well as children's books. But like I said, a lot of them are actually in storage because I want to try and keep them safe with everything happens here, as well as a lot of them are actually vacuum packed so they don't get dust damage and all that. I know it's a little bit overkill for a book, but some of them not necessarily worth a lot of money, but they, like I said, they're very sentimental. Some of them even belong to my mother, and she's passed away for about 15 years now, so I do really want to keep them sort of safe. So I will do one. So Gidget Goes 1128, I will definitely do that one as well. So you're getting 2 for 1. So the first one I'll pick is, I will call this sort of hard luck, sort of non-celebrity story. So it's basically someone that isn't famous but has, I suppose, become famous because someone's written about their horrible life story, or sort of an insight into what sort of happened to them. And this one is called Marching Powder, and it's by Rusty Young. Now this is sort of to do with, I suppose, international drug trafficking and all that sort of thing. I know there's lots of different books about this, but I found this quite sort of, not hardcore, but really fascinating in the fact that Rusty Young, supposedly, he bribed the guards to get into this prison. Now it's in San Pedro, which is in Bolivia. It's one of the notorious prisons. There was Thomas McFadden, an English convicted drug trafficker, was there, so he actually had to bribe the guards to actually get in there and write about Thomas McFadden's story. So, and you actually get to see behind the scenes about the prison, about sort of what goes on in there, because it's basically a different sort of world. A world that I cannot imagine, apart from the drug trafficking, but also the sort of on the other side of the world as well, and just different societies and how someone ends up sort of in the situation. So it's a fascinating read. Plus it also means something to me because, gosh, this must be about 5 years ago now or more, my friend Jennifer gave this to me because I had an operation, like my second operation or something, and I was recovering at home, and I was bored out of my brains and very stubborn because I wanted to just move around. But Jennifer and Jenny came over and gave me some books to read, and this was one of them. My friend Jenny gave me, and Jennifer gave me Geisha. So I felt like it's a Geisha, and that was correct. So thank you. But yeah, it's still one of my favourite sort of reads. A book you can go back and read again. So my second book, I'll call this Famous People, or Celebrities. Now this one is obviously you would fall in biographies, etc. But they're not insightful stories. They're insightful because they're going behind the celebrities line, but we'll never really know, obviously, if it's the true sort of story. But I love it because they're 2 people I admire, so I managed to squeeze in 2 in the slot. And I thought because it might give you some insight into the things that I like as well. So the first one is Billy. I love Billy Connolly, the comedian. He's a great, obviously, comedian as actor and TV personality. I know a lot of people might find his style very prolific, too profane in the way that he delivers some of his I suppose, comedy routines, but I love it. My dad's been watching him for about 20 years, and I mean, I grew up sort of watching around of it, but I just love his accent. I love the way he speaks. He's very down to earth, very earthy, and he just has to laugh, and you cannot help but laugh. So well, that's just me, but it's called Billy, written by his wife, or second wife, Pamela Stephenson, and obviously goes through his childhood, so you get to learn behind the scenes of his life. There's pictures about, I suppose, where he grew up, etc., different stages of his life, his first marriage, his children, his life, comedy, etc. So I found it a fascinating read, and it's a book I can go back to sort of any time. So it's a bit of more of a hardcore, in-depth read. And then the second one I picked for this slot is called Burnt Toast, written by Teri herself. So it's about her life and times. So really about her sort of romance life, having a child, being an actress, sort of growing up, things that she's learnt, some words of wisdom she can pass on. So this is what I call more of a light read. So it's actually quite an easy read. You could read it easily in a day if you wanted to, or on a trip. There's a lot of it is quite funny, and she's got a very quirky sort of style, exactly how I would imagine her to be. Of course, she did have editors to help her with this, and again, you'll never really know if she did write this 100%, I suppose, by herself, or how much is true. But it's one of those ones I'll take with a grain of salt, because I do admire Teri Hatcher. I find her quite an elegant, very classic sort of actress. She's gorgeous, and yeah, she just has that sort of personality that I like. So, but slot 2, slot 3, I'll put this in, I suppose, I'll call it debate or philosophy, things that would get you sort of talking, whether it be politics, religion, or social events, because I love philosophy. I love practical ethics, social ethics, etc., religion, talking about that. So this one's called Death, The Final Frontier by Hardt, and out of interest, this is 1979 first edition, but I've had this for a long time. And quite interesting, when I've mentioned this to people, death, oh, that's a morbid sort of title. Well, that's the whole sort of point. This is writing about the taboo of death and how different societies view it, as well as how it's been viewed throughout history, the different ceremonies, things like euthanasia. Obviously, that's a very hot topic for some people. But a lot of what he's written about, like over 21 years ago, still holds true today. So it's quite a fascinating read, and really is something that you could actually have a good, obviously, talk about with people, but also goes about different ceremonies for death, cremation, how a lot of people feel about it, different polls. So yeah, I mean, a lot of the statistics in here might be a little bit out now and obviously outdated, but the underlying thing about the different cultures and that is still very much true. But I love all those sorts of things. And what are we up to? 1, 2, 3. Slot 4, I will call this, I suppose, animals / biology, all that sorts of things. I love like the Planet Earth DVD series as well as books. I grew up loving the World Around Us, all these sorts of different programs and stuff. But I do love reading, I suppose, animal books and histories and things like this. So this one's called Snake, and it's by, Snake by Drake Stutz or Stutesman. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But it's in his animal series. Now this one I love because, I mean, we do have snakes in Australia. I haven't actually bumped into a snake personally, but I think that snakes are much maligned, and they actually are, I think, beautiful sort of creatures, and they obviously only attack if they're provoked. But I do collect snakes' ornaments, jewellery and stuff like that. I never wear anything that's made from real snake skin, unless I suppose it was humanely killed, or if it just, not killed, if it died naturally. But I still wouldn't wear it anyway, because I just love, like I said, I love collecting the ornaments. I mean, I've got lots of different snake emblems and jewellery, wallets and bags and stuff, but that's all fake. And I'm happily glad it's fake. So, but it is a fascinating read, because he's writing about how snakes are being perceived, not just through religion, but through different societies, through cultures, how snakes are perceived in different myths and legends throughout time, throughout history. So it's actually quite a good, fascinating read, and it took me a while to sort of get through, because it's quite in depth and all that. But how different societies use it in different posters, and like in Egypt, obviously way back, as idols and icons, etc. So that goes in that one. And last but not least, I would call this slot number 5, handbooks. Now, I love handbooks, and obviously I love beauty handbooks, but I also love writing handbooks, and I've got a lot of different types because there's a lot of different genres and different ways of writing ones. And so I just grabbed this one. This one is Fantasy and Science Fiction by Lisa Tuttle, because obviously writing fantasy and science fiction, you might be writing about different worlds, different societies, different languages, etc. So it gets a little bit technical.